Bine v-ați găsit, doamnelor și domnilor, la nouă ediție Focus Geopolitic. Mi s-a părut foarte interesant, cunoscându-l pe excelența sa, domnul ambasador dr. Manoj, Kumar, Mohapatra, să avem o discuție despre India, despre Incredibila Indie. Pentru început, vă rog să-mi permiteți să îi mulțumesc excelenței sale pentru acest interviu și să fac apel la câteva repere istorice determinante pentru India. India este una din cele mai vechi civilizații ale lumii. Civilizația Văii Indusului s-a manifestat între 3300 și 1300 înainte de Hristos ca una din cele mai avansate din antichitate. Perioada vedică și apariția hinduismului, budismului și jainismului a marcat iarăși viața Indiei. Pe teritoriul actual al Indiei au fost imperii cum au fost majore, Ashoka, Gupta, epoca de aur a științei și matematicii, Mughai, în secolul 16-18, după care a survenit colonizarea britanică în secolul 18 până în 1947, iar din 1947, 15 august, sub conducerea lui Mahatma Gandhi și Nehru, India și-a câștigat independența. India devine republică în 1950. Evoluțiile moderne ale Indiei au fost marcate de o democrație parlamentară în 47-90, reforme economice majore, liberalizare deschise către piața globală începând cu 1991, din 2000 creșterea economică accelerată și boom-ul sectorului IT, cunoaștem cu toții fantasticele realizări în domeniul IT și nu numai aici, în domeniul sateliților extraatmosferici. Din 2014 vorbim de epoca Modi, epoca fabricată în China, Digital India, India autonomă, reforme structurale, infrastructură masivă, creșterea influenței globale. La ora actuală, India este una din cele mai mari democrații ale lumii, cu o populație de peste 1,4 miliarde de locuitori și una din cele mai vechi civilizații ale umanității, care ocupă astăzi un loc tot mai important pe scena geopolitică și economică globală. De la moștenirea sa istorică și principiile fondatoare ale politicii externe, precum mișcarea de nealiniere și solidaritatea cu Global Sat, până la ascensiunea sa actuală, ca putere tehnologică, economică și strategică, India se afirmă ca un actor esențial al ordinii multipolare. Sub deviza "Lumea este o singură familie", India promovează o viziune bazată pe cooperare, multilateralism echitabil și dezvoltare inclusivă. Cam atât despre India în câteva cuvinte, dar India este incredibilă și vă recomand, când aveți posibilitatea, să o vizitați, aveți ce să vedeți și aveți ce să învățați din India. Excelența voastră, vă rog să-mi permiteți să vă adresez o serie de întrebări referitoare la țara pe care o reprezentați. Vă rog să faceți câteva aprecieri privind saltul economic și tehnologic realizat de India în ultimii ani. Cum vede India rolul său în BRICS? Ce priorități promovează India în cadrul acestui forum extins al ordinii internaționale multiglobale?
I would be grateful if you could offer your assessment of the significant economic and technological transformation that India has achieved in recent years. How does India envision its role within BRICS Plus framework in the context of today's multipolar international order? What are the principal priorities that India seeks to advance within this expanded forum?
Now, first of all, thank you very much for coming to the Indian Embassy and take my interview. And my sincere gratitude to you and through you to all viewers, all your viewers, and my sincere thanks to the Geopolitic. Coming back to the point, I think India's development, I will be saying this one, that since our independence, we have been striving for the development of India, and in the last, I think I will be saying 2 or 3 decades, we have focused on the development of India. And if I would be talking about the development, particularly the infrastructure development, I would be saying, in the last 12 or 15 years, we have focused on the investment, and in the last 5 years, India may have spent more than $2 trillion in our infrastructure projects. Every day we are developing 38 kilometers of our national highways. Every day we are developing 18 kilometers of our metro lines. Every day we are developing 12 kilometers of our, I think the 18 kilometers of our railway lines and 12 kilometers of metro lines. Every year we are developing 5 to 6 airports. Every year we are developing 4 to 5 ports. So that shows the infrastructure development ability of India. When it comes to the multipolar world, I would be saying what we have seen very recently, multipolar world is a solution. Here I would be saying the international organizations that are not as effective it should be. Bilateral has its challenges. When the international relations or the world bodies are not working the way it should be, and the bilateral is not as effective. So I think we see this one that there are multipolarity, and in that case there are some small sub-regional bodies, and one of them is BRICS. India is a member of Quad, India is a member of I2U2, India is a member of BRICS. We see these are opportune moment for India that we would be working with the like-minded countries to take the relationship forward. Our philosophy is Vasudeva Kutumbakam, which means the whole world is a single family. We would be believing this one that as a family we can see how the whole family would be moving forward. In this regard, we see there is a single sun, one earth, one moon, one family. And whatever the knowledge and experience that India has, we would be very much happy to share with the like-minded countries. Here, any country which is becoming a partner of India, we would be very much happy to work with them.
Excelency, India este un donor regional de securitate. Care sunt obiectivele strategice ale Indiei în bazinul Indo-Pacific și ale inițiative precum Quad la securitatea maritimă și la o regiune liberă deschisă? Cum echilibrează India abordarea sa independentă cu participarea activă în BRICS și în forum precum Quad și cadrul economic Indo-Pacific pentru prosperitate?
India is also recognized as a regional security provider. What are India's strategic objectives in the Indo-Pacific region, and how do initiatives such as the Quad contribute to maritime security and the vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific? How does India balance its independent foreign policy approach, often referred as a multi-alignment, with its active participation in BRICS and in forums such as the Quad or the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework of Prosperity?
I think I have already answered in the first question, and let me repeat this one. Basically, I would be saying that India is the largest contributor of the international peacekeeping force. And sometimes we are number one, sometimes we are number two, but we are the largest contributor, and we would be continuing to that process. Here I would be saying this one, that when we talk about any conflict, India is always on the side of peace. Let's take the example of whether it is Russia and Ukraine war, or whether it is the USA, Israel and Iran war. India is always on the side of peace rather than on the side of whether it is Russia or Ukraine, whether it is the side of Iran, Israel and USA, or per se the Gulf countries. The example that I would be giving here is that we have excellent relationship with Russia, we have excellent relationship with European Union, we have excellent relationship with Ukraine. So we maintain our relationship because we are on the side of the peace. Similarly, the recent conflict in the Gulf region, all four parties, whether it is USA, Israel, Iran and the Gulf countries, we have excellent relationship with all of them. Sometimes it is a challenge for us, sometimes they provide opportunities. When it comes to BRICS, or whether it comes to Indo-Pacific, we don't see this one, these are the security phenomena rather than the economic. what we see is that the major challenge is not the war. Major challenge is how to bring the people out of the poverty. So whenever it comes to the challenges, India speaks to the leaders and they talk about that diplomacy should be given the chance. And we speak to everybody and we see this one, that there is no solution in the war, rather than solution lies in the diplomacy. So when it comes to the Indo-Pacific region, particularly the example of Quad. The Quad, during the COVID-19, what are the challenges? We are not talking about security. The challenge was that how we can provide the essential medicines, how we can provide the essential vaccines to the Indo-Pacific region. Like the challenge was during the COVID-19 is that how to save the lives. So in the Quad we were discussing that the technology would be the USA technology, scaling up would be done by the India, logistic would be given by the Australia, and Japan would be giving the finance. So that is the way we see, rather than looking at as it is a security problem, we see that how we can provide the platform for addressing the solution, whether it is COVID-19, whether it is the semiconductor or the emerging technologies. We have been discussing that in the Quad platform also, the like-minded countries, how we can have the technology and the same technology can be serving the humanity. That we discuss in the Quad forum. So I think coming back to the point, I would be saying that our main objective is we are on the side of the peace. The second is that the challenges are hunger. Let's focus on the challenge like in the pandemic. Let's focus on the challenge where people are below poverty, how they would be uplifted, how the education, how the artificial intelligence would be serving the humanity. These are the challenges, and we work with the like-minded countries to take the relationship at the next level.
Thank you. O altă întrebare, deși este membru BRICS, India are relații deosebite cu Statele Unite. Cum evoluează parteneriatul strategic India-SUA în domeniul apărării, tehnologiei și securității în zona Indo-Pacific și care sunt principalele provocări și oportunități în relațiile India-China, mai ales pe linia frontierei himalaiene și în contextul competiției economice?
Although India is a member of BRICS, it maintains a particularly strong relation with the United States. How is the India-United States strategic partnership evolving in the fields of defense, technology, and Indo-Pacific security? What are the main challenges and opportunities in India-China relations, particularly along the Himalayan border and in the context of economic competition?
India is currently the fourth largest economy in the world, and we see this one. As we grow, there would be more opportunities rather than the challenges. And our Prime Minister has always been saying the world is big enough to accommodate not only India, but also China, but also USA and European Union and other countries. What we see is that while we are the members of the European, members of the Quad, we are also the member of the BRICS. And we don't see this one, that Quad and the BRICS, they are against each other. We see this one, that we have the common ideology that is there in the Quad. As I mentioned earlier, that common ideology is that how to provide the essential medicines to the COVID-19, provide the vaccines, similarly the technology. And in the BRICS also, we are discussing how the BRICS would be coming together to identify the problems and find the solutions for the global south. We have been working with the global south and for their upliftment. As we have the technology, we have the resources, we would be very much happy to take that challenge and move forward. We see that it is possible on the part of the India, because India is the largest, the population by the largest country. I think we have 1.45 or 46 billion population. And as we are the fourth largest economy in the world, we see this one, that we would be very much happy to work with like-minded countries. And coming back to the point that we don't see this one, that these groups are not against one another. We see this one, that as we are the member in one group, and we are also the member of the other group, we see this one that we would be very much happy to bring the positive sides of the one particular group to the other group, which would be helping us to have a safer world, peaceful world, democratic world. So we would be very much happy to work with the like-minded countries.
Thank you, Excellency. Într-adevăr, parteneriatul strategic cu Statele Unite în domeniul apărării, tehnologiei și securității are noi perspective, mai ales în actuala situație de amenințări globale. În această situație, cum gestionează India relația tradițională cu Rusia, inclusiv în domeniul strategic și al apărării, și în domeniul tensiunilor geopolitice actuale, ca urmare a războiului din Ucraina, cu China, și în ce măsură relațiile cu aceste trei puteri majore definesc autonomia strategică a Indiei și capacitatea sa de a naviga într-o lume polarizată?
How is the India-United States strategic partnership evolving in the domains of defense, technology and Indo-Pacific security? What are the prospects for its further deepening under the current US administration? How does India manage its long-standing relationship with Russia, particularly in the energy and defense sectors, amid the current global geopolitical tensions? And what is the current state of its relations with China? To what extent do India's relations with these three major powers define its strategic autonomy and its capacity to navigate an increasingly polarized world?
I think I have already answered the question in our previous questions. Let me go there one by one. See, I will give an example that you would be understanding that the present geopolitical situation has become a complex situation because of the Russia-Ukraine war as well as the Iran and the Gulf, USA and Israel war. The way I think Russia-Ukraine war has shaped the oil market, similarly also the Iran, USA and Israel war has also changed the oil market. Before the Russia-Ukraine war, I think India was buying most of its energy resources from the Gulf countries. They were our traditional partner, and as the war started between the Ukraine and Russia, I think most of the European countries, they started diverting their sourcing from other countries to the Gulf countries, which were the India's traditional partner. At that point of time, there are no options for us but to go to the Russia. And India has not violated the rule and regulations that was given by the USA and other countries, and including the Europe. And we started buying the oil from Russia because the cost as well as the availability. And Russians were also steady partners for supplying the oil. Here I would be adding this one, that when we went there, we didn't go just like that. When we went there, and some of the countries also requested India to go there, like USA. USA requested India to buy the Russian oils because to stabilize the price of the oil. Current war, in fact, as we were buying a lot of our resources, energy resources from Gulf countries, and that has been disrupted because of the Iran and USA and Israel war. We have, if you would be looking at that, while Russia is the main supplier of crude to India, USA is the main supplier of the gas to India. And we are also diversifying, knowing the fact that getting some of the resources from the Latin American countries like Venezuela, resources like USA would be little bit higher. But as we don't have the other options but to buy, which would be sure, and therefore we have been diversifying to get not from the near sourcing rather than from a distant sourcing. And we know that is the future. And therefore, while I am giving the example that while we buy the most of the crude oil from Russia, and in the last 6 months or this year, if you would be taking into account, you would be taking the second supplier is the gas, which is USA. And we have started discussing from the Latin American countries like Venezuela to get So therefore, I would be saying, India is a country which believes in maintaining peace and encourages parties to negotiate diplomatically, so that diplomacy should be given a chance. And we have been discussing almost all political parties, almost all countries. And here, I think Iran is one of our closest friend. Bilateral, we have excellent bilateral relationship with Iran. We have excellent bilateral relationship with Israel. We have also excellent bilateral relationship with the USA and also almost all Gulf countries. When it comes to defense, I think we would be saying that while Russia has been a steady partner of India when it comes to defense cooperation, we have been talking about the Europe. We have defense relationship with Romania. We have defense relationship with France. We have defense relationship with USA. So we would be very much happy to engage bilaterally and I would be saying multilaterally to the almost all countries when it comes to defense, when it comes to supplies of energy, when it comes to essential medicines, when it comes to the critical minerals or the technology, emerging technologies. We would be very much happy to speak. Our main objective is that diplomacy should be given the chance rather than the defense.
Thank you. India este membru al Commonwealth-ului, nu? În acest context, care este viziunea Indiei asupra rolului său în această organizație în secolul 21? Care sunt relațiile cu Regatul Unit al Marii Britanii? Cum poate contribui Commonwealth-ul la dezvoltarea solului global și la reformarea guvernanței globale și ce inițiative concrete promovează India în cadrul acestei organizații?
India is a member of the Commonwealth. In this context, how does India envision its role within the organization in the 21st century? What is the current state of relations with United Kingdom? How can the Commonwealth contribute to the development of the global South and to the reform of the global governance? What concrete initiatives is India promoting within the organization to foster economic, educational and climate cooperation?
I think here I would be saying that India has excellent relationship with almost all the Commonwealth countries, including the UK. We always see that peaceful resolution of any issue diplomatically, that is the solution. So therefore, whenever we are speaking to the Commonwealth countries, we are speaking for the development of the Commonwealth countries, and we have excellent bilateral relationship with UK. We have excellent relationship with other of the Commonwealth countries. Let me say this one, that recently my Prime Minister had gone to visit the Australia, the New Zealand, and the way he was received there in the Australia and New Zealand, that shows this one, that the relationship that we have with the other Commonwealth countries like the Australia and New Zealand. With almost all Commonwealth countries, we would be saying this one, that we have strong economic partnership, strong people-to-people connections, and strong the connections in the bilateral relationship. Let's see this one, that during the pandemic, I think India supplied the medicines to more than 150 countries plus, and we also supplied to the COVID-19 vaccine to more than 100 countries. And most of them are the global South countries, and that is why India has been called as the pharmacy of the world. When every country stopped their export of medicines, India didn't stop. India supplied the essential medicines and vaccines. We see this one, that a friend friend in need is a friend in deed. So therefore, we would like to demonstrate not only to the Commonwealth country members but also to the global South that India would always be there for them at their time of need, and that is why we have been strengthening our bilateral relationship, our commercial relationship, our economic relationship, and also people-to-people connections. So in the Commonwealth is a platform we have been using to promote or strengthen our bilateral relationship, including commercial, economic, people-to-people, etc.
Thank you. Evoluțiile actuale au propulsat India din actor emergent către statutul de putere regională în Indo-Pacific, dar nu numai. Care sunt prioritățile Indiei în ceea ce privește comerțul internațional și atragerea investițiilor străine? Cum influențează inițiative precum Make in India și Atmantibar Bharat, puteți să faceți câteva referiri la abordările indiene privind provocările lanțurilor de aprovizionare globale și tranziția către o economie verde în contextul actual?
Recent developments have propelled India from its position as an emerging actor to that of a significant regional power in the Indo-Pacific. What are India's current priorities in the areas of international trade and attraction of foreign investment? How have initiatives such as Make in India and Self-Reliant India influenced the country's global economic standing? Could you also share India's perspectives on addressing the challenges of global supply chains and the transition toward the green economy in the current international context?
I think it is a very good question, and here let me say this one, that during pandemic we see that a lot of countries, they stopped supplying also the raw materials, essential technologies, and so India focused on these manufacturing the raw materials, manufacturing some of the finished products in India, and that is why we talked about Atmanirbhar Bharat. But our Atmanirbhar Bharat is not that we would be producing for ourselves. What we want is that we would also be helping the other countries through our Atmanirbhar Bharat. How? For example, let's talk about the medicines. India was importing most of its close to 98 or 97% of the APIs requirement from other countries. And when we saw that the countries stopped supplying the APIs, we initiated a scheme called PLI scheme, and where we focused on producing the APIs for ourselves. And we see this one, that currently the amount of APIs that we are producing is significant compared to the pre-pandemic. When it comes to the technology, emerging technology also, we would like to also produce, and therefore I think most of the mobiles that you are currently seeing, that most of them are also manufactured in India. So what we see is that the pandemic has shown us the importance of nearshoring as well as also friendshoring. We see that India would be the friend to most of the countries when it comes to supply chain management. I would be giving the best example is that in India and European Union, we have already signed a free trade agreement, and it would be coming into effect. What we see is that the Romania would be becoming the gateway for India for the European Union. We would like most of the manufacturing done by Indian companies for the European Union would be done here in Romania, so that products should be manufactured on the Romanian soil, and it would be sold in the European Union market. And what we see this one, that is our objective of strengthening the Romania and India's economic and commercial relationship. I had never thought that Indian companies would be coming for harvesting cherry tomatoes or agricultural products here in Romania. There is an Indian company. Last year they have harvested more than 800 metric ton of cherry tomatoes. We would be very much happy to work with the like-minded countries when it comes to the supply chain management, when it comes to managing the production at the nearshoring at nearby areas. So here I would be saying our Atmanirbhar Bharat is not for producing the products for India, it is also producing the products for other countries in their countries. So we would be very much happy to work, and as India is a 1.45 billion population, it is the largest market in the world, and our middle income group is increasing. And we have signed recently the free trade agreement with the most of the major economies of the world. We see that the Romania or the like-minded countries in the Europe, all the members of the European Union, they would be getting the benefit, and we would be very much happy to work with them for the economic upliftment of not only India but also the members countries of the European Union.
Thank you. Excelența voastră, de când ați preluat misiunea diplomatică, am observat o activitate deosebită pe care ați desfășurat-o la nivelul contactelor personale în mediul academic și universitar, în domeniile de business și economico-industrial. Cum caracterizați stadiul actual al relației bilaterale politice și diplomatice dintre India și România la peste 77 de ani de la stabilirea relațiilor diplomatice?
Since assuming your diplomatic mission, I have observed the remarkable activity you have undertaken, particularly through personal engagement within the academic and university circles, as well as in the business and economic industrial sectors. How would you characterize the current state of bilateral political and diplomatic relations between India and Romania, more than 77 years after the establishment of diplomatic ties?
Thank you very much. This is an important kind of the question, and it is very much pertinent when we are discussing about the visit of the Honorable President of India to Romania. Honorable President of India will be visiting Romania, I think, very soon, and we see that as this visit is happening after 30 years, 3 decades, it would be a significant visit from India to Romania. Of course, currently we have extensive partnership and very good relationship with India, between India and Romania, and we are celebrating 78 years of establishment of a diplomatic relationship, which has given a platform, the strong foundation between the India and Romanian relations. And whatever we are doing, working on the strong foundation, and here, whether it is people-to-people connection, whether it is trade, whether it is commerce, whether it is science and technology, whether it is the manufacturing, whether it is energy, whether it is green technology, whether it is emerging technology, whether it is critical minerals, whether it is manufacturing of the fertilizers, whether it is the development of infrastructure, whether it is development of the sharing the knowledge and experience technology, we would be very much happy to work between the Romania and India to work on this one. We have always been saying the India and Romania relationship is always complementary in nature. While India's market, India's size, India's the workforce, and when it complements the strategic location of Romania in the Europe, particularly as Romania is a member of European Union and a member of NATO, that is complementary to each other. Besides the Black Sea, the constant support, the connection through the Danube River, that gives additional opportunities for India to come here and manufacture the products for the whole European Union. The workforce, the talent, the technology that Romania has, it is also complementary when it comes to India. We would be very much happy to attract the Romanian investment to India as well as India's investment to Romania. We intend to organize the 80th anniversary of establishment of relationship in the next 2 years. By the time we see that our trade may be doubled, we would like to celebrate the year of the 80th, the establishment of the anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relationship as a year of innovation, and we would be very much happy to work, because India's philosophy is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Whatever knowledge and technology that we have, whether it is artificial intelligence or digital, we would be very much happy to work. And innovation, currently we have more than 160,000 startups in India. We would be very much happy to work with Romania for those areas and to bring both the countries closer.
Mi-ați răspuns și la întrebarea nouă, mulțumesc mult. La întrebarea 8, vom trece la întrebarea 9. Ce oportunități vedeți pentru creșterea comerțului bilateral și al investițiilor reciproce? Există toate prioritare, IT, energie, agricultură, farmaceutice și altele. Există inițiative economice comune, concrete, cu proiecte de investiții indiene în România? Mă refer aici la infrastructură, energie regenerabilă sau tehnologie.
What opportunities do you see expanding bilateral trade and mutual investments? Are there priority sectors such as IT, energy, agriculture, and pharmaceuticals? Are there any concrete joint economic initiatives or specific Indian investment projects in Romania, for example, in infrastructure, renewable energy, or technology?
We have been very much in discussions with the Romanian and the Romanian counterparts, particularly when it comes to the commercial and economic relationship. We have identified 6 or 7 areas to work together, and we have coined a term called speed. So what is speed? S stands for supply chain management, P stands for pharmaceutical, E stands for energy, another E stands for education, D stands for digital, and the last D stands for defense. These are the 6 areas we have been working with the Romania. And regarding supply chain management, we would be very much happy, as we have signed the free trade agreement between the European Union and India. We would be very much happy to integrate the supply chain management between the India and Romania, and through Romania to the European Union. Pharmaceutical, we have Therapia, we have Blue Pharmaceuticals, we have a lot of pharmaceutical companies. They have shown interest. In fact, along with the Honorable President of India, there will be more than 40 companies that are coming, and some of them are also from the pharmaceutical background. As India has shown the whole world that India has become the pharmacy of the world, plus we have the capacity to produce the generic medicines to bring the price down, we would be very much happy to work with Romania to not only bring the Romania's expenditure on health down, but also through Romania to the other European countries. When it comes to energy, I think the single largest solar plant is not in China, not in US, and not in European Union, but also in India. From the single solar plant, which is triple the size of Bucharest, 750 square kilometer of area, we would be generating more than 30 gigawatt of the solar power. We would be very much happy to work with the Romania when it comes to whether it is battery technology, whether it is solar, whether it is wind. We have almost all Indian companies related to this while generating the electricity or energy here in Romania. When it comes to education, I think I would be saying a lot of Indian students had come here. They have become Romanian ambassador to India, because while going back, they have been promoting Romania, and we would be very much happy to discuss about not only the Indian students coming to Romania, but also Romanian students going there, student exchanges, faculty exchanges, joint research. That itself would be helping us, and therefore we are discussing the science and technology collaborations. When it comes to digital, we would be very much happy that we have the lot of IT companies, whether it is TCS, whether it is HCL Tech, whether it is Genpact, whether it is Wipro. We have different IT companies of India who have been giving direct employment to the Romanians. Both Romanians and Indian, we believe in the mathematics. Here, the Honorable President then is an example of the mathematics, and for computer science, you need mathematics. We both work in the computer and artificial intelligence. We would be very much happy to continue to work there. As I mentioned that there are in India, we have more than 160,000 startups. We would be very much happy to work, and in this regard, we are going to celebrate the year of innovation when we will be celebrating the 80th year of establishment of diplomatic relationship. Defense is another area. It is a new area. We would be very much happy. Recently, we have concluded the joint working group meeting in New Delhi. We would be very much happy. A lot of investment proposals have come from India, and they would be very much happy to manufacture some of the defense equipments here in Romania. We would be very much happy to take the discussions forward. And with that, we are also discussing some of the Romanian companies. They are also discussing to go to India for infrastructure development in India, and also some of them would be also manufacturing products there in India. As we see, the trade, commerce, and investment, these are the futures. Technology, these are the futures. We would be very much happy to work, because Romania and India, we are like-minded countries.
Da, într-adevăr, India a făcut pași importanți în dezvoltarea tehnologiei militare, a sateliților extraatmosferici și a inteligenței artificiale. Cum evoluează cooperarea în domeniul apărării și securității și dacă există potențial pentru proiecte militare sau de training comun cu România?
India has made significant strides in the development of military technologies, space satellites, and artificial intelligence. How is cooperating in the field of defense and security evolving? Is there potential for joint military projects or collaborative training programs?
I have already answered that question. I think I would be saying that yes, in the field of science and technology, space, and the military, we have seen a lot of progress in India, and we would be very much happy to work with Romania. And as I already mentioned, that during the visit of Honorable President, we are President of India to Romania, we are looking at signing in science and technology collaboration cooperation. Recently, we have concluded the joint working group on the defense mechanism meetings, and we would be very much happy to also work in the artificial intelligence. As I said, there are several Indian companies who are currently in the IT-enabled service sector. They are also looking at converting themselves to the artificial intelligence. In India, as we have seen a lot of progress in the use of artificial intelligence for the humanity. we would be very much happy. Recently, I was reading a newspaper that currently India is using or going to use the artificial intelligence how to save the lives of elephants. Because what happens when the elephants cross the railway track, and at some point of time, because of the accident, a lot of the damages happen, not only the railway but also the elephants, herd of elephants. So we have introduced the artificial intelligence, because whenever the elephant herd would be working, the tremor that would be felt through artificial intelligence, you can identify and convey the message to the nearest station, so that the herd is passing the railway track, and so that the train will be becoming slow. We would be very much happy to work with Romania in the artificial intelligence sector. I mentioned earlier that we have more than 160,000 startups. We would be very much happy to integrate the Romania with India when it comes to the startups ecosystem, and therefore we have proposed to the government of Romania that let's celebrate the 80th year of establishment of diplomatic relationship between the India and Romania as a year of innovation. Throughout the year, we will be talking about how you can work together in the field of innovation. So we see that is the future. We will be very much happy to work between India and Romania in this regard.
Thank you. Ați făcut foarte multe vizite în România. Care sunt proiectele culturale de succes sau inițiativele de people to people care au consolidat legăturile dintre statele noastre? Mă refer la festivalul, programe ale ICCR-ului, cooperare academică.
What are the successful cultural projects and people-to-people initiatives that have strengthened the ties between the two countries? For example, festivals, ICCR programs, or academic cooperation?
Any relationship would not be stronger if there is no strong people-to-people connections. Here I would be saying, while we have close to 20,000 Indians in Romania, and their contribution is immense, and we see this one that the people-to-people connection is getting stronger because of their presence here. Last year we celebrated Diwali, that is the festival of light. We celebrated Holi, that is the festival of color. And we see in thousands people had come and participated. And we had seen also, not only here, but also the outside of the Bucharest, and there are occasions where people celebrated Holi and people celebrated also Diwali. I think, for example, in Timisoara they celebrated Holi. In Yas, more than 1,000 people they celebrated Holi. And we see this one, that the celebration of Indian festivals in Romania, that brings the people of both the countries closer. And similar is the case when the Romanians visit India. Here I would like to draw a particular person. His name is Mr. Bipan Kumar, who in the last winter saved a 5-year-old Romanian girl, putting himself into danger, and the way the Craiova municipality honored him by giving a honorary citizenship. That shows the strong people-to-people connection between India and Romania. We know that you have the requirement of the manpower. India, more than 65% of the population are less than 35 years old. We are a young country. We would be very much happy to work with Romania when it comes to promoting the Indian culture, the festivals here. Another contribution is students. You need students to come from here, and here, when the students they come here, when they go back, they become the ambassador of Romania to India, and they always talk about the Romania in India, and that's why Romania gets very much famous. Here, contribution of the Bollywood. Everywhere I go, there people talk about the Bollywood. We would be very much happy to work on how the people-to-people relationship would be further stronger, and we would be welcoming the ideas. Therefore, whenever we go to the municipalities, we encourage them to celebrate some of the Indian festivals, and which would not only be making the festivals popular, but also it would be bringing the Indian people and Romanian people closer.
Thank you. În presa din România se vorbește că președintele Indiei, doamna profesor Drupadi Murmu, deși are un calendar diplomatic intens în 2026, va veni în România, dar nu apar în anunțurile publice actuale. Unele surse comentează o eventuală vizită în România și Republica Moldova în jurul datei de 25 iulie. Dacă da, care sunt principalele obiective ale acestei vizite și cum ar contribui o astfel de vizită la ridicarea relațiilor bilaterale India-România la un nivel strategic superior?
The President, Drupadi Murmu, has an intense diplomatic schedule in 2026, with recent or upcoming visits to France, Slovakia, Italy, Indonesia, Australia and other countries. However, Romania does not appear in the current public announcements. Some open source reports mention a possible visit by the President to Romania and the Republic of Moldova around 25th July. If so, what would be the main objectives of a visit and how could it contribute to elevating India-Romania bilateral relations to a higher strategic level?
You know, we are announcing today that the Honorable President would be visiting Romania from 23rd to 25th. And Honorable President of India would also be visiting the Moldova on 20th. And you know, when the visit happens, so basically both the countries should be announcing the visit. So that's why we are announcing today that the visit is going to happen. While the Honorable President Draupadi Murmu's visit to Romania, that would be happening after 30 years, and it would be the first ever visit to the Moldova. And this visit would be giving us the opportunity to review the bilateral relations, identify the new areas of cooperations, and therefore we see this one that it would be a significant visit when it comes to the relationship between Romania and India. We would be meeting the Honorable President, we would be meeting the Honorable Prime Minister, we would be meeting the Honorable President of the Senate, Honorable President of the Chambers Friendship Group. We would also be visiting the Village Museum. We would also be visiting the University of Economics in Bucharest. And other than that also, the more than 40 Indian companies are also accompanying the Honorable President. We would be holding a business forum which would be addressed by Honorable President of India, Honorable President of Romania, as well as Honorable Prime Minister of. So I think I would be saying the visit would be substantial given that it has the business component, it has the trade component, it has the opportunity to sign some of the agreements, including the science and technology, including some of the sports, including some of the things which would be doing together. And we would be very much happy to work, and we see this one that this visit would be giving not only the further momentum to our bilateral relationship, it would be helping to take the relationship to the next level.
Mi-ați răspuns și la întrebarea următoare, dar aici aș interveni cu o continuare a întrebării. Cum contribuie o astfel de vizită ridicarea relațiilor bilaterale la un nivel strategic superior? Există așteptări concrete din partea Indiei de la această vizită în contextul parteneriatului cu UE și NATO?
What important
14.
What important agreements or initiatives could be signed on the occasion of the visit? How would such a visit contribute to elevating India-Romania bilateral relations to a higher strategic level? Are there concrete expectations on the Indian side regarding this visit in the context of partnership with EU and NATO?
As I mentioned this one, that during the visit, we would be very much happy to discuss not only the current relationship, we would also be discussing how the relationship would be going to the next level. As I mentioned earlier, that this visit is happening after 30 years. It is significant. India attaches highest importance to its relationship with Romania, and through Romania to the other European countries, and that is why we see this visit would be opening a new chapter in our relationship. As I mentioned, that the areas that we have identified, whether it is parliamentary cooperation, whether it is science and technology cooperation, whether it is people to people like sports, the economic relationship, because as I mentioned that there would be more than 40 business leaders are accompanying, whether it would be the energy sector, because we expect this one that the Romania would be joining some of the India-led the forums like Romania has already joined the International Solar Alliance, and we are expecting that Romania may be joining the CDRI, Global Biofuel Alliances. That itself would be elevating the relationship to the next level. And this visit gives the opportunities, and we would be very much happy when we discuss about the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable President. The whole entire gamut of the relationship would be discussed, and it would also meetings would be identifying new areas of collaboration and cooperations. And that is why I am saying this one, that the visit itself, as it is happening after 30 years, visit itself would be identifying the areas which would be further helping us to the next level. We may be announcing that our bilateral trade, which is far below potential, and as we have signed the European Union and Free Trade Agreement, India and the Free Trade Agreement, that itself would be helping us double the trade in the next 2 to 3 years. So we would be very much happy to work. Investment is another area, artificial intelligence, the IT, these are the areas, defense, these are the areas we would be very much happy. Green technology, emerging technology, critical minerals, these are the areas we would be very much happy to discuss. We see this one, a lot of discussions would be happening, some of the agreements would be signing, and the details would be announced during the visit.
Da, sunt multe domenii de discutat și multe proiecte comune. Să sperăm că se vor rezolva.
Și o ultimă întrebare. În contextul unei noi arhitecturi geopolitice și geostrategice globale, cititorii revistei Geopolitica și telespectatorii emisiunii Focus Geopolitic sunt interesați de ce mutări vor fi pe marea tablă de șah. Ce le transmiteți din India?
In the context of emerging global geopolitical and geostrategic architecture, the readers of Geopolitica magazine and the viewers of the Focus Geopolitic program are interested in the forthcoming moves on the great chessboard. What message would you like to convey to them from India?
As I said earlier, that India is always on the side of the peace, and we would be encouraging the parties to take the help of diplomacy rather than the military means to find the solutions. We have common challenges: climate change, global warming, shortage of the critical minerals, emerging technologies. These are the challenges. Pandemic. We would be very much happy to have a common approach, and rather than focusing on the military or the wars, the whole countries, the whole world should focus on how the pandemic-like situations, global warming, climate change, earthquake, these how we can find the solutions to these challenges. That is the call by India for other countries to follow. So we would be very much happy to speak to almost all like-minded countries and focus on the importance of the peace, focus on the diplomacy, focus on development, focus on market, focus on how people who are in need, they would be brought out from the below poverty line to middle income group or forward movement. How the resources that are limited, how it could be shared with among the people. These are the messages India would like to promote among the like-minded countries, and we would be continuing.
Thank you very much. Să vă mulțumesc foarte mult și vă dorim din partea colectivului Geopolitica și Focus Geopolitic mult succes în îndeplinirea obiectivelor diplomatice în România. Mult succes poporului indian și multă prosperitate.
Thank you very much, mulțumesc. And once again, my sincere gratitude to you, your organization Geopolitic, as well as your viewers and your readers, that India is a country. We would be very much happy to partner with like-minded countries, and India is always on the side of the peace. We would be very much happy to discuss about the development and how to find the solutions for the whole world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dragii mei, vă mulțumesc pentru atenție și ne întâlnim săptămâna viitoare la ultima ediție din această vară. La revedere!